Signs God wants you to be with someone. God's message for you. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to speak to you about something that touches the deepest corners of the human heart, something that is both mysterious and divine, yet very real in our lives. I want to talk about love, about connection, and most importantly, about how God speaks to us through the relationships He intends for us. There are moments in life when we meet someone and we cannot shake the feeling that this encounter is more than coincidence. It feels purposeful, it feels predestined, and it is in these moments that God begins to reveal His will in ways that only the heart can truly understand. Many of us spend years searching, hoping, and wondering if we are truly meant to be with someone. We look for signs, but often the signs are subtle, quiet, and easy to overlook. They are not always the dramatic, cinematic moments we imagine. God rarely needs to shout to be heard. He whispers, He nudges, He arranges circumstances in ways that are unseen by the world, but unmistakable to those who are paying attention. And tonight, I want to guide you in recognizing these whispers, these nudges, these divine signals that God uses to tell us when a connection is meant to be. Consider for a moment the way life has led you to this very place. Every decision, every encounter, every challenge has brought you here right now, at this exact moment. And sometimes God uses the people we meet along the way to teach us, to prepare us, and even to transform us. The right person at the wrong time may feel frustrating, even painful. But when God is involved, timing is never wrong. His perfect orchestration ensures that the person you are meant to be with will appear at the right time, in the right way, and under circumstances that align with His divine plan. Many people confuse attraction, infatuation, or convenience with God's will. They confuse fleeting excitement with eternal alignment. But God's signs are unmistakable. They come in the form of peace that surpasses understanding, clarity that arrives even amid chaos, and a quiet knowing deep within the soul. When God wants you to be with someone, you don't have to force it. You don't have to manipulate circumstances or plead for attention. You simply recognize it because it resonates with your spirit. It confirms itself quietly yet profoundly in every fiber of your being. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to open your hearts and your minds. I invite you to listen with your spirit and to trust in the divine timing and guidance that God offers. We will explore the unmistakable signs, the messages that He sends, and the wisdom that allows you to recognize when a connection is not merely a chance meeting but a divine calling. Because God's message is always clear for those who are willing to see it, to feel it, and to believe it. If you want, I can now write the full speech seamlessly following this introduction, keeping it around 1,000 words like your other keynotes so you have a complete, ready to deliver version. One of the clearest ways God communicates His will about a relationship is through peace. Divine peace is not the absence of challenges or differences, it is the presence of calm assurance, even amid life's storms. When God intends for you to be with someone, your spirit recognizes it long before your mind can articulate it. This peace is quiet yet profound. It does not demand attention through drama or chaos. It does not create confusion or unnecessary turmoil. Instead, it brings clarity. It provides a sense of safety that reassures you that this connection is aligned with God's plan. Peace manifests in many ways. It is present when you are near the person, when your conversations flow naturally, and when your heart feels steady in their presence. Even when disagreements occur or life challenges create friction, the core of the relationship does not leave you anxious or fearful. You may feel tension like in any human connection, but your soul remains centered. God's peace is different from comfort. Comfort may feel good temporarily, but divine peace provides lasting assurance, even when circumstances are uncertain. When you experience this peace, it is often accompanied by a deep internal knowing. You might not have proof, and the world may not see it, but your spirit is calm. It is a signal that God's hand is present, guiding the relationship. This is why many people overlook it. They are conditioned to search for signs in dramatic events, but God often works in subtle ways, a gentle confirmation in the heart, a feeling of alignment, a quiet reassurance during prayer. These are God's whispers. They are not loud or urgent, but they are unmistakable if you are attuned to your spiritual senses. Another critical aspect of divine peace is its ability to filter out confusion. Many relationships in life are clouded by uncertainty, manipulation, or indecision. You may ask yourself questions repeatedly. Is this right? Am I making a mistake? When God is guiding a connection, these questions do not dominate your thoughts. You may still face challenges, but the persistent inner confusion that plagues many connections is absent. Your heart does not feel torn in two directions. Even when circumstances seem difficult or timing seems off, you sense that the path you are walking is true. Peace also reveals itself in your interactions with others regarding this relationship. You do not feel compelled to prove anything, to seek constant validation, or to manipulate outcomes. You do not have to beg for attention, create drama to test love, or manufacture emotional highs. The need for such behavior arises from uncertainty, from fear, and from lack of divine alignment. When God is at work, trust replaces doubt, patience replaces desperation, and love flows naturally without coercion. You begin to notice that the relationship does not require constant struggle. Instead, it requires faith, faith in God, faith in the timing, and faith in the heart. Moreover, peace serves as a compass for your decisions. In relationships, choices often carry weighty implications. Should I speak now? Should I wait? Should I express my feelings or hold back? Divine peace acts as a guide, giving clarity when you are unsure. It whispers, "This is the right step," or "Be patient, and the answer will come." It eliminates unnecessary worry, confusion, and hesitation because you trust that God is orchestrating events. Decisions made in this peace are seldom regretted because they align with the divine order. The presence of peace is also a powerful indicator when comparing relationships. Some connections may feel exciting, intoxicating, or urgent, but they leave you anxious, doubtful, or drained. God's signal, however, is unmistakable. You feel steadiness, a sense of home in your spirit, a quiet joy that persists even when life is imperfect. When a relationship brings chaos, drama, or manipulation, that is a warning sign, not a confirmation. Divine peace always accompanies God's guidance. Importantly, this peace is not passive. It does not mean that the relationship is effortless or devoid of growth. In fact, divine peace often accompanies challenges because it teaches you to trust God even when life tests your patience. You may face external obstacles, miscommunication, or personal struggles, yet the peace in your spirit provides the strength to navigate these trials without losing faith. It is a resilience that can only come from recognizing God's hand at work. Additionally, peace helps you recognize God's timing. When a person is meant for you, you often sense that there is a rhythm to the connection that cannot be forced. Events unfold in a way that feels natural, not rushed. Opportunities arise when they are meant to, and delays serve as preparation rather than punishment. Divine peace helps you distinguish between timing that is right and timing that is immature. You learn to wait patiently, trusting that what is meant for you will not be denied. Peace also encourages healthy boundaries. When God guides a connection, you do not feel the need to compromise your values, distort your character, or abandon your faith to maintain the relationship. Divine peace aligns with God's moral and spiritual laws, ensuring that love does not come at the cost of integrity. You are guided towards someone who complements your life rather than challenges it destructively. Finally, peace transforms the way you perceive love itself. Instead of seeking love in fleeting emotions, momentary excitement, or external validation, you begin to experience love as a sacred, stabilizing force. It is a love that confirms, strengthens, and reassures. It is the voice of God saying, "This is the one I have placed for you. Trust this path, follow this guidance." The calm assurance in your heart is the first sign, the most important sign, and the sign that precedes all others. One of the clearest ways God communicates His will about a connection is through alignment and timing. When God wants you to be with someone, the universe begins to orchestrate events in a way that cannot be explained by coincidence. Paths that seemed separate begin to converge. Moments that felt accidental now feel purposeful. Meetings, conversations, and even subtle gestures happen repeatedly as if the universe itself is insisting, "Pay attention. This is the one I have for you." Repeated alignment is different from force or manipulation. It is not the result of frantic effort, desperate chasing, or creating situations artificially. Instead, it occurs naturally, gently, and consistently. You notice that certain encounters happen over and over, not because you planned them, but because God arranged them. People, events, and circumstances begin to move toward each other, creating a rhythm that you cannot ignore. It is as if life itself is sending reminders, nudges, and confirmations, guiding you toward what has been divinely intended. Divine timing plays a crucial role in this process. Often, God does not place the person you are meant to be with into your life at the moment you desire. He waits until the conditions are perfect for growth, understanding, and maturity. He waits until you are spiritually, emotionally, and mentally ready to receive what He has prepared. This timing is deliberate, precise, and perfect, even if it does not match your impatience. It is a timing that ensures the connection serves not only your heart, but also your higher purpose. Repeated alignment and divine timing often come with subtle signs that can easily be overlooked if you are not attentive. You may notice that certain people appear at key moments just when you need guidance or insight. Conversations that seem casual reveal deeper truths. Opportunities arise that bring you closer to the person you are meant to be with. These are not random events, they are divine signals, reminders that God is orchestrating a plan far beyond your comprehension. When God aligns your life with someone, He also aligns your inner world. You may find that your thoughts, emotions, and intentions begin to resonate with the connection more naturally. You think about them without obsession, you care without neediness, and you recognize them without doubt. The alignment is both external and internal. It manifests in your experiences, your choices, and your spiritual awareness. This internal resonance confirms the external signs, creating a deep, unmistakable sense of certainty that you are on the right path. It is important to understand that divine alignment does not eliminate challenges. In fact, alignment often tests your faith. You may face delays, obstacles, or moments of uncertainty. These are not signs that the connection is wrong. On the contrary, they are part of God's plan. He uses these moments to strengthen your faith, refine your character, and prepare you for the union He has ordained. Divine timing is rarely immediate because God values growth over instant gratification. He ensures that when the connection is fully realized, both individuals are ready to honor it with integrity, love, and commitment. Repeated alignment is also a reminder that some relationships are guided by fate, not chance. You may meet people in ways that defy explanation, crossing paths at unexpected moments, encountering the same person repeatedly, or having shared experiences that seem too coincidental to ignore. These moments are God's way of drawing your attention. They are gentle but persistent reminders that you are being guided towards someone significant. The universe conspires, not randomly but purposefully under God's direction. Another aspect of this divine alignment is the sense of inevitability that arises. It is not an obsession, nor is it a compulsion. Rather, it is a quiet understanding that the relationship is meant to happen. Obstacles do not disappear instantly, but over time, resistance begins to fade. Doors that were once closed begin to open, and circumstances align to make the connection possible. This inevitability is a product of God's orchestration, a reflection of His will manifesting in ways both seen and unseen. Divine timing also teaches patience and discernment. In a world that prizes instant results and immediate gratification, waiting for God's timing can be challenging. Yet this waiting is essential. It allows you to grow, to learn, and to prepare yourself to love fully and wisely. It prevents you from entering relationships prematurely, which may lead to pain or confusion. When you understand that alignment and timing are God's tools, you stop forcing situations and begin trusting the process. You allow God to handle the orchestration, confident that what is meant for you will not be delayed. This alignment also ensures that both individuals are prepared to contribute positively to the relationship. God's timing is perfect because it not only brings two people together, but also ensures that each person is ready to give and receive love in its highest form. It is a union that supports spiritual growth, emotional maturity, and mutual respect. When alignment and timing coincide, the relationship is not just a meeting of two hearts, it is a meeting of two souls prepared for divine purpose. Repeated alignment and divine timing often manifest in subtle confirmations. You may notice synchronicities, shared experiences, or recurring thoughts that draw you back to the person. These signs are gentle nudges from God reminding you that His plan is unfolding. They reinforce the knowledge in your heart that the connection is real, significant, and destined. Paying attention to these signs strengthens your trust in God's guidance and deepens your awareness of His orchestration. Ultimately, alignment and divine timing are about surrender. They are about trusting that God knows the path better than you do. They remind you that you do not need to force, manipulate, or control circumstances to make love happen. When God is guiding a connection, He provides repeated opportunities, aligns your life with the other person, and orchestrates events so that the relationship unfolds naturally. Your role is to recognize the signs, trust the timing, and move in faith, knowing that God's plan is perfect, even when it defies logic, expectation, or impatience. One of the most profound ways God communicates His will about a relationship is through inner conviction. This is a deep, unshakable knowing within your spirit that transcends logic, circumstances, and even the opinions of others. When God wants you to be with someone, your heart recognizes it before your mind does, and often long before the world around you confirms it. This conviction is subtle, quiet, and personal. It does not demand recognition, nor does it seek validation from anyone else. Many people rely on external confirmation when it comes to matters of the heart. They wait for friends, family, or social signals to approve or deny the connection. They look for proof in coincidences or dramatic events. But divine guidance works differently. God speaks to the inner spirit, and His confirmation arrives as a certainty that cannot be shaken by doubt or external circumstances. You may encounter skepticism, criticism, or obstacles, yet the inner conviction remains steadfast. It is the voice of God within, guiding you toward what is meant for you. This inner knowing often manifests as clarity amidst confusion. Life is full of distractions, doubts, and opposing opinions, and relationships can be messy. But when God guides a connection, you experience a sense of clarity that is unmistakable. Decisions about the relationship become simpler, and you instinctively understand the steps to take. You no longer feel the need to overanalyze or manipulate situations because your spirit has already aligned with the truth. This clarity is one of the most powerful signs that God intends for you to be with someone. Inner conviction also acts as a filter against fear and doubt. Many people hesitate in relationships because they worry about failure, rejection, or the opinions of others. When God is at work, fear loses its grip. The voice of doubt may still whisper, but it does not dominate. Instead, your heart is filled with confidence that this connection is part of God's plan. You may not have all the answers, and the path may not be perfectly smooth, but your spirit knows that the direction is right. Another key aspect of this inner conviction is authenticity. When God confirms a connection through the heart, it feels genuine, not forced. You do not feel the need to pretend, impress, or hide parts of yourself. The relationship allows you to be fully present and fully yourself. Inner conviction brings a natural alignment between your true self and the other person's true self. It is not based on external validation, status, or societal approval. Instead, it arises from the truth within, resonating with the authenticity of your soul. This internal knowing is also patient. It does not rush or demand immediate resolution. Divine guidance understands the importance of timing and preparation. While your spirit may recognize the right person, external circumstances may require patience. Inner conviction provides the endurance to wait without anxiety, to trust without forcing outcomes, and to remain steadfast even when delays or obstacles arise. You are guided not only to the person, but also to the right moment when the connection can fully flourish. Importantly, inner conviction is often accompanied by a sense of alignment with your purpose. When God guides a relationship, it does not distract you from your calling or derail your spiritual growth. Instead, the connection supports your journey, complements your mission, and enhances your life in meaningful ways. Your heart feels certain because the union is divinely orchestrated, and your soul recognizes that this person is intended to contribute positively to your path rather than divert or drain it. This conviction also provides resilience against external negativity. Friends, family, or even circumstances may challenge the connection. You may hear warnings, criticisms, or doubts that seem convincing on the surface, yet your inner knowing remains unwavering. God's confirmation within you is stronger than any external opinion. It protects the relationship from being swayed by fear, doubt, or pressure. You understand that what God ordains is above human interference. Inner conviction is often reinforced by subtle signs and synchronicity. Yes, but it does not depend on them. While repeated alignments, coincidences, or confirmations may strengthen your certainty, the core knowing exists independently. It is a quiet, profound sense that whispers truth even in moments of uncertainty. This is why relying solely on external signals can be misleading. God's guidance is first internal, and the heart always recognizes it before the eyes do. Another aspect of inner conviction is the feeling of inevitability. You sense that the connection is meant to happen. Even if challenges exist, you feel that nothing can permanently prevent it. This is not arrogance or obsession, it is spiritual awareness. It is the recognition that God has placed this person in your life, that divine timing will orchestrate the events, and that the heart's certainty is rooted in truth rather than wishful thinking. Inner conviction also teaches discernment. When you listen to your spirit, you can distinguish between relationships that are fleeting and those that are meant for your higher purpose. You begin to recognize which connections are genuine, supportive, and spiritually aligned, and which are distractions or temporary infatuations. This discernment is a gift from God, allowing you to navigate love with clarity, confidence, and wisdom. Finally, inner conviction encourages surrender. It asks you to trust God's guidance fully, to follow the certainty within your heart, and to move forward with faith, even when circumstances are challenging. It aligns your desires with God's will, ensuring that love is not driven by fear, desperation, or external approval. When you honor this inner knowing, you are guided into a connection that is authentic, transformative, and divinely intended. Inner conviction, therefore, is one of the most reliable signs that God wants you to be with someone. It surpasses logic, ignores external pressures, and anchors your decisions in divine truth. When your heart knows without question, when your soul feels peace amid uncertainty, and when your spirit recognizes the alignment as sacred, you are receiving God's message loud and clear. It is the voice of certainty guiding you, the compass pointing toward divine love, and the assurance that what is meant for you cannot be denied. When God intends for you to be with someone, the relationship becomes a catalyst for spiritual growth rather than a source of exhaustion or confusion. Many people mistake chemistry, physical attraction, or temporary comfort for divine guidance. But God's signs are deeper. He does not bring someone into your life to drain your energy, destabilize your faith, or pull you away from your purpose. Instead, He aligns your heart with a connection that elevates your spirit, challenges your weaknesses, and encourages you to become the best version of yourself. A relationship that is meant to be will nourish your soul. It will help you recognize your strengths and weaknesses, gently expose areas in your life that need refinement, and provide opportunities for patience, forgiveness, and unconditional love. Even when you face disagreements or challenges, the experience strengthens your character rather than diminishes your faith. God's purpose in relationships is transformational, not destructive. He seeks to refine you, to prepare you for greater things, and to use the connection as a means of elevating your consciousness. One of the key indicators that God wants you to be with someone is that they draw you closer to Him. This does not mean they preach at you or impose beliefs, but their presence inspires you to seek God, to live with integrity, and to act from a place of faith. A divinely guided relationship encourages prayer, reflection, and spiritual alignment. You notice that when you are with this person, your thoughts naturally shift toward gratitude, kindness, and a higher purpose. They become a mirror for your soul, showing you not only your love for them, but also your love for God. Conversely, relationships that are spiritually draining create tension, self doubt, and fear. They distract you from your purpose, challenge your integrity, and often leave you feeling anxious, insecure, or spiritually empty. These are warnings, not confirmations. God never uses a relationship to destabilize you. When His hand is guiding, the connection will be challenging in ways that teach and uplift, not in ways that discourage or harm. Spiritual growth may feel uncomfortable at times, but it never leaves you feeling lost or disconnected from your faith. Another sign of divine intention is the mutual encouragement of growth. God's plan does not favor one sided relationships. Both people contribute positively to the spiritual, emotional, and moral development of the other. When a connection is truly guided by God, you notice that your partner challenges you in constructive ways, encourages your strengths, and inspires you to reach new heights. Likewise, your presence uplifts them, creating a reciprocal environment of support, trust, and spiritual expansion. God desires relationships where two sow Ls grow together rather than stagnate or conflict endlessly. Spiritual growth also manifests in the way you handle conflict. In divinely guided relationships, disagreements do not lead to destruction or prolonged bitterness. Instead, they become opportunities for reflection, understanding, and compromise. You develop patience and empathy, and you learn to navigate challenges with grace rather than frustration. Even difficult conversations feel productive and necessary because they are part of the process God uses to refine both individuals. You grow not only as a partner, but as a person, strengthening your capacity for love and understanding. God also signals His guidance through the sense of lightness and freedom that a relationship brings. You do not feel trapped, constrained, or fearful. Instead, there is a sense of balance, harmony, and purpose. You feel motivated to become better, not because of obligation, but because the relationship naturally inspires you. You are drawn toward actions and behaviors that align with your values, your faith, and your life purpose. Divine relationships are liberating, not burdensome. A spiritually aligned relationship also cultivates gratitude. You notice the little things, the respect, the shared laughter, the moments of understanding, and the mutual encouragement. Gratitude is a signal that God's hand is at work. When a connection inspires appreciation, reflection, and humility, it demonstrates alignment with His will. You recognize that this person is not just a companion, but a blessing, a mirror of divine love, and a conduit through which you experience growth. God's guidance in relationships often works through challenges. D. Designed for refinement. There may be moments of frustration, misunderstanding, or life circumstances that test the bond. Yet, even in these moments, the relationship does not break you. Instead, it strengthens your faith, deepens your understanding, and teaches resilience. Spiritual growth is rarely comfortable. It asks you to face your fears, overcome ego, and embrace humility. But these lessons are exactly what God intends when He places two people together. Another profound sign is that a divinely guided relationship encourages purpose beyond the relationship itself. You feel inspired to contribute positively to the world, to serve others, and to align your actions with higher principles. Love becomes a tool for transformation, not only for the two people involved, but also for the larger environment around them. You realize that when God orchestrates a connection, He is concerned with growth, not indulgence. The relationship serves a higher purpose beyond immediate happiness. Finally, spiritual growth in a relationship fosters patience and trust. You learn to surrender control, to trust God's timing, and to embrace His plan. You understand that the relationship will flourish in accordance with divine guidance, not your own impatience. Even delays or challenges feel purposeful because you recognize that God is refining the connection for the highest good. You develop faith not only in the relationship but in God's wisdom, knowing that He is orchestrating events with perfect precision. Spiritual growth also encourages humility. You begin to see yourself more clearly, acknowledging areas where you need improvement while appreciating your strengths. You learn to forgive, to compromise, and to act from love rather than ego. This is a sign that God is at work in the relationship because He is shaping both individuals to contribute to a union that is balanced, meaningful, and enduring. In essence, when God wants you to be with someone, He brings a relationship that expands your spirit, rather than depletes it. He encourages, challenges, and supports you in ways that nurture faith, integrity, and love. The connection elevates your character, aligns your purpose with His will, and teaches lessons that last a lifetime. It is a partnership built not only on affection but on growth, transformation, and divine intention. One of the most unmistakable signs that God wants you to be with someone is the way resistance begins to fade and doors start to open in your life. Often, before God's plan manifests fully, there is tension, delay, and obstacles. The universe seems to push back, timing seems off, circumstances feel impossible. Yet, when God is orchestrating a union, these barriers do not remain permanent. Slowly, steadily, and often subtly, resistance begins to break, creating a path for the connection to flourish. Resistance can appear in many forms: external challenges such as distance, conflicting schedules, societal pressures, or disapproval from others; internal struggles such as fear, doubt, or past emotional wounds. These forces can make a relationship feel impossible, like every step forward is met with pushback. Yet God's plan is not deterred by resistance. What once seemed insurmountable begins to dissolve as His hand guides the unfolding events. The obstacles were never meant to stop the relationship, they were meant to test your faith, strengthen your patience, and prepare both hearts for the timing that is right. As resistance begins to break, you notice subtle shifts. Situations that were complicated suddenly find resolution. Communication flows more easily. Opportunities to meet, speak, or connect appear at just the right moment. These are not coincidences, they are the evidence of divine orchestration. When God wants two people together, He aligns circumstances in ways that the human mind cannot manufacture or predict. Every open door, every eased path is a sign that the connection is moving toward fulfillment. This process also teaches perseverance. Often people give up too soon, mistaking temporary resistance for rejection or failure. But when God is involved, resistance is not the end, it is the beginning of a refining process. You are challenged to hold faith, trust the timing, and remain patient while the pieces fall into place. Each obstacle you encounter becomes a lesson in faithfulness, resilience, and surrender. The breaking of resistance is gradual, but it is always purposeful. Doors opening is another critical sign of divine guidance. These are not just literal opportunities to meet or spend time with someone, they are also symbolic of spiritual and emotional readiness. God ensures that both people are aligned not only physically but also in values, purpose, and emotional maturity. The opening of doors indicates that the timing is right, that preparation is complete, and that the relationship can move forward in alignment with His will. Resistance breaking and doors opening often occur in unexpected ways. You may have been struggling with a situation for months, even years, only to find a resolution appearing suddenly and effortlessly. A conversation, a chance encounter, or an unplanned event may change the trajectory of the connection entirely. These moments carry a sense of inevitability because God's plan cannot be thwarted. What once seemed impossible becomes possible as divine timing and intervention guide the outcome. It is important to understand that God's breaking of resistance does not eliminate responsibility. Both individuals must remain open, patient, and willing to respond to the opportunities presented. God prepares the path, but it requires human faith, discernment, and action to walk through it. Doors may open, but you must have the courage to step forward, to embrace the connection, and to trust the unfolding process. Faith is demonstrated not only in waiting, but in moving when God provides the opportunity. Resistance breaking is also tied to the release of past patterns and emotional baggage. Often, God's timing includes moments where old fears, doubts, or relational wounds are addressed. These challenges may have prevented the union from occurring earlier. As resistance dissolves, you find that past pain no longer dictates your choices. You approach the connection with clarity, confidence, and a renewed sense of self. God uses resistance to purify your heart and prepare to receive the love that is meant for you. Another aspect of this sign is the removal of unnecessary complications. When God wants you to be with someone, obstacles that are not essential to your growth or the relationship's purpose gradually fall away. Misunderstandings resolve, misalignments correct themselves, and the flow of life begins to support the connection rather than hinder it. This natural alignment is unmistakable because it brings relief, clarity, and progress without the need for forcing events or manipulating outcomes. The breaking of resistance also builds faith. Every time an obstacle that once seemed impossible is resolved, you recognize that God is at work. These experiences reinforce the understanding that what is meant for you cannot be denied. You begin to trust not only the connection, but also the divine orchestration behind it. This trust strengthens your patience, deepens your love, and anchors your hope in God's plan rather than in human expectations. Doors opening also serve as encouragement to act in alignment with God's guidance. Opportunities may present themselves to express feelings, strengthen bonds, or make meaningful commitments. These openings are often accompanied by a sense of timing, clarity, and readiness. Acting on these moments in faith accelerates the fulfillment of God's plan while maintaining alignment with divine timing. It is a partnership between divine orchestration and human response where trust and action work together to manifest the intended outcome. As resistance breaks and doors open, you also gain insight into the purpose of the connection. You recognize that God's plan is not only about companionship or affection, but about growth, learning, and the fulfillment of a higher calling. The challenges overcome become part of your shared story, reinforcing the strength of the bond and the divine foundation of the relationship. Every barrier removed is a testament to God's faithfulness and precision in guiding your life. Ultimately, the signs of resistance breaking and doors opening are among the most powerful confirmations of divine intention. They are tangible and undeniable evidence that God is orchestrating events, aligning timing, and preparing both individuals for a connection that is meant to flourish. The journey through obstacles, challenges, and delays is not wasted. It is part of the divine design that ensures the union is meaningful, lasting, and aligned with God's purpose. When you see resistance fading and doors opening, you are witnessing God at work. Trust the process, embrace the opportunities, move forward in faith. These signs are clear, undeniable, and filled with promise, affirming that the person you are meant to be with is drawing closer and the path is being prepared with divine care, precision, and love.